threats in the Northwest against the Muslim community. The message this evening from local leaders. Plus, treatment paradox, why neighbors say a spot meant to help drug users is now attracting more trouble. And later,
we can see the help, and I think it's getting better.
Meet the business owner finding optimism in Old Town, one sneaker sale at a time. Good evening, everybody. We begin tonight with newly released police body cam video. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko. It shows Longview police officers involved in an encounter with a man back in early September, one that ended with police shooting and killing the suspect. A warning here, while police have redacted the video and you won't see the person who died, the video is graphic in nature and difficult to watch, so it also sheds light on this incident and the use of force by police that prosecutors say was justified. Catherine Cook takes us through.
This happened the afternoon of September 2nd. Investigators say a man was passed out in his car in a drive-through line of a Longview restaurant. Paramedics responded, gave the man Narcan, and he came to. That's when police say the man got aggressive, threatened medics, then drove away. Longview police responded, and they say the suspect sped off, tried eluding police, and ran a red light. Finally, police stopped the car. Body cam video shows what happened next.
Longview police blocked in the orange Dodge Challenger near 19th Avenue and Florida Street. This is video from Officer Matt Dennis's body-worn camera. As Dennis pulls up to the car, you see him duck. Investigators say the first rounds you hear came from the suspect's gun and that 5 hit the patrol car. Officer Dennis sits up and returns fire, shooting through his windshield. He gets out of the car and reloads.
Shots fired, audio code 8, code 3.
3 officers fired at the suspect, later identified as 30-year-old Lewis Earl Johnson Jr. of Seattle. One shot hit Johnson, killing him.
Hands up! Hands up!
At one point, police say Johnson put his gun on the hood of a patrol car. Here's another angle of the pistol. Investigators say it didn't have a serial number and that Johnson had it illegally. No officers were injured, but that wasn't clear from the start.
Matt, yeah, do a check. Yeah, check me. You shot at me. You all right? I think so.
Officers took Johnson out of the car.
Shirt off.
And rendered first aid.
Hey, I've got an A5, back.
They performed chest compressions while trying to stop the bleeding.
Give me another chest here.
In the end, it wasn't enough to revive Johnson.
This month, the Lower Columbia Major Crimes Team finished their investigation. Prosecuting attorneys determined the officers' use of force was justified and they were cleared to return to duty. Catherine Cook, KGW News.
Let's get to fast-moving developments in the Middle East now, where it is now 9 in the morning on Wednesday, with President Biden set to touch down in Tel Aviv within the next couple of hours. This as the region grapples with the aftermath of a blast at a hospital in Gaza, one that killed hundreds of people. Palestinian leaders are blaming Israel for the attack. The Israel Defense Forces, the IDF, now pushing back, saying the explosion came from a misfired rocket launched by a militant group in Gaza known as Islamic Jihad. Meanwhile, there are new fears for the roughly 200 hostages held by Hamas in Gaza. Those include a 21-year-old French-Israeli named Mia Shem. Hamas has released images of her in a propaganda video, and NBC's Lester Holt sat down with her mother.
I sat and I watched the video and I wanted to die because I saw my baby so scared and so wounded, and this is the worst nightmare for every mother in the world.
The hostages, the humanitarian crisis, they are both items on the top of President Biden's agenda when he meets with the Israeli Prime Minister. The White House also says the president will meet with first responders, families who've lost loved ones, and will make remarks in Tel Aviv Wednesday before returning to Washington. Meanwhile, here in the Northwest, the FBI is warning about a rise in threats aimed at both Jewish and Muslim Americans. Alma McCarty with that part of the story.
My understanding of what's happened in Portland is essentially reflected around the country, where Islamic places of worship are being made to feel intimidated.
Threats to members of the Islamic Society of Greater Portland prompting a response from leaders. In a message posted Monday, ISGP writes they are deeply saddened and concerned, and that their primary focus is the safety and well-being of all. According to the organization located in Beaverton, they've reported the threat to local law enforcement. At this time, KGW does not know the specific details.
I think any human being reacts with horror to what we're seeing in the Middle East and how we're seeing it play out here.
Corey Saylor is the Research and Advocacy Director for the Council on American Islamic Relations. He says their organization has seen a wave of incidents across the country since October 7th, including the death of a 6-year-old Palestinian-American boy who was stabbed to death outside of Chicago in what officials are calling a hate crime.
Too often people in Muslim and other targeted communities feel like it's either the norm, like this is just how we expect to get treated, so we're not going to report it, or they find themselves hesitant because of their fear.
Saylor says it's critical for communities to speak out, reporting hate and bias crimes to the appropriate authorities.
You can take your horrific experience and save somebody else from something similar, because by you speaking up, that serves to prevent other things like that happening frequently.
Locally, Portland's FBI field office is increasing engagement with religious and community partners. Special agent in charge, Kieran Ramsey, writing in part, "We saw something brutal and barbaric happen halfway around the globe, and there is a valid reason for communities across our country to be in a heightened state of vigilance. That is not to say that they should be fearful."
Alma McCarty reporting there. Stay with KGW and NBC News for the latest developments out of Israel and Gaza. Look for updates overnight on the president's visit with special reports from NBC News as well as on Sunrise and the Today Show. Developing this evening, Oregon Congresswoman Lori Chavez DeRemer has joined 19 other Republicans blocking Representative Jim Jordan in his bid to become House Speaker. The GOP's razor-thin majority means Jordan can only afford to lose a handful of votes from his party. In a statement, Chavez DeRemer said she is, quote, deeply concerned that the chaos of the last few weeks would only continue if Jordan becomes Speaker. A second vote is expected on Wednesday. To a renewed effort this evening in the Northwest to boost security on board public transit and to streamline prosecutions of those accused of committing crimes. Thomas Schultz with that story.
Officials admit there's a problem. Crime committed on TriMet goes unprosecuted too often, though now
you're going to see more presence on the system.
They hope more staff will allow for more patrols, efficient investigations, and increased prosecutions.
These resources will help streamline investigations while also freeing up our transit police officers to be more visible on our transit system and around our transit locations.
It's all a part of TriMet's plan to beef up security.
We have now over 315 security staff out there as a response to our riders who want to see more presence out there on the system. 315,
more than double what they had a year ago. And TriMet Chief Safety Officer Andrew Wilson says TriMet has doubled its security staff budget since 2020, though it has lost much of its police presence. Now, right now, TriMet says that it has budgeted 65 positions for its transit police force, though less than a third of those are currently filled. Just 18 law enforcement officers staffed, who are contracted from surrounding agencies, though when those departments are understaffed, they don't have the manpower to help TriMet.
We've struggled to get those numbers back up post-COVID in particular.
5 years ago, Wilson says TriMet had all 65 positions booked. There were once deputies from Clackamas in Washington County too, though now numbers dwindle. And while there's a long way to go to fully staff transit police, officials hope a few more members will help.
It is our hope that transit police will continue to grow.
Thomas Schultz, KGW News.
A Northeast Portland medical center that offers addiction services has now become a magnet for drug users. This is the scene from earlier today outside the Blackburn Center as people wait for a bed inside. Our Blair Best witnessed people smoking meth, others saying they will keep doing drugs until a space opens up there. Neighbors say the open air drug activity makes them feel unsafe.
I think it's horrible. You know, I mean, they're supposed to treat people with for drugs, and it's available to them right outside. You know, it shouldn't be there at all.
Oh yeah, I tried to get in here a few times. It's really difficult because they're backed up.
Well, Central City Concern, the organization that runs the Blackburn Clinic, said in a statement they are working to create a safe and welcoming environment outside the center. They also have their own security to mitigate open-air drug use. More than 1,300 Peace Health workers in Southwest Washington say they stand to lose their health insurance if they go on strike as planned next Monday. The union representing tech, service, and maintenance workers in Vancouver and lab workers in Longview says management made that threat after walking away from the bargaining table. Workers are seeking pay and staffing increases. The union also said Peace Health is offering to pay replacement workers well above what its members are currently making. You're watching KGW News. Straight ahead at 11, bringing plenty of souls back to Old Town, the new store that's looking to kickstart a neighborhood comeback. And fish out of water, the mystery that's left some scientists scratching their heads.
I'm Matt Safino. A beautiful sunset and twilight tonight. This from our camera out in the Dalles as the clouds began to clear. With that clearing, though, fog is forming and it's going to get thick. We have a dense fog advisory out for the morning hours. We'll let you know how long that's going to last. And the big swells that will be battering our beaches tomorrow.